Two brilliant genetic engineers decide to push the boundaries of science when they fuse human DNA with that of animals, creating something that should never have existed. What begins as a search for a cure soon turns into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions. Clive and Elsa are a couple of genetic engineers who work for a company called NERD. Their main role at the company is to research the fusion of DNA from various animals to create hybrid creatures with unique qualities. The company's goal is to use the unique compounds found in the bodies of these hybrids to develop drugs capable of curing most global diseases. At the beginning of the film, we see Clive and Elsa introducing a successful male hybrid creature. They name him Fred and pair him with their previous female creature, Ginger. Everyone watches in fascination as Fred and Ginger meet for the first time and bond by intertwining their tongues in greeting. Later, Clive and Elsa are in a meeting with the company's CEO, Joan. Joan is delighted with the results of her experiment and wants to immediately begin extracting genetic material for drug production. The couple proposes the idea of creating a human hybrid, arguing that this would provide them with a much wider variety of compounds. Using such compounds, diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and even some forms of cancer could be treated. However, Joan wants to focus on the hybrids currently available. Elsa insists that if they don't do it first, someone else will. But the CEO remains adamant. The couple leaves the meeting discouraged and angry, but they have no plans to back down. Since the company won't allow the experiment, they decide to carry it out themselves. In the lab, Elsa obtains human DNA from a random donor, and the two begin experimenting, fusing it with animal DNA, as they did with Fred and Ginger. After several failed attempts to match the DNA, Elsa suggests using someone else's DNA and continuing the experiment. She gives a sample to Clive, claiming it is the best human DNA she could find. Finally, the two adjust the temperature correctly, and the fusion is successful. Now, they need to incubate the cell and allow it to develop into a fetus. However, since human cloning is illegal and considered highly unethical in genetic engineering, Clive wants to stop the experiment. Elsa, however, tricks Clive by locking him out of the lab and starting the procedure. However, she decides to let him in and insists they continue, just to verify that the fusion was truly successful. She assures him that the experiment will be controlled, so it wouldn't matter even if they failed. Clive relents and places the cells in an incubator. The couple watches as the cells begin to multiply rapidly. The next morning, Elsa checks the creature's development and is surprised to see it progressing exponentially. Later, the couple is at home when they receive an emergency message from the lab. They rush there and see that the fetus has fully developed, much earlier than expected. Elsa tries to remove the creature with her bare hands but is bitten and trapped.
Cuidado, cuidado.
The next morning, Clive tells Elsa that they need to kill the fetus because it could be dangerous. Elsa doesn't want to kill it yet, but she knows they'll be in big trouble if anyone finds out about the creature. The couple goes to the lab, only to discover that the creature is already dead. When Elsa opens the cell, she sees that it's just the creature's outer skin, meaning the creature is alive and somewhere nearby. Just then, a noise is heard coming from the ceiling. Clive, outside, asks Elsa to come out so they can fill the room with poisonous gas and kill the creature. But Elsa does the opposite and reaches out to the newborn, beckoning it to her. Just then Clive enters, frightening the creature. The couple leaves the room and knocks the creature out with gas. After examining it, they discover that it is female and is growing rapidly. At this rate, it will die within months, so they plan to make the most of the time it has and observe it rather than kill it. X-rays reveal something resembling a tumor inside her body, which confuses the couple. The creature also has a sharp, venomous tail that it uses for defense. It's been a week since the creature was born. Clive tries to feed her, but she doesn't cooperate. The couple soon realizes that she only likes sweet foods, which makes it easier to eat. Elsa begins to treat the little creature like her own daughter. She dresses her up and teaches her to spell her name. The little creature spells the word nerd, copying the words on Elsa's shirt. Elsa is amazed by her intelligence and names the girl Dren, an anagram of nerd. Just then, Clive arrives and accuses Elsa of treating Dren like a pet. They begin to argue loudly, which is overheard by Clive's brother, Gavin, who also works at Nerd. He sneaks into their lab and is attacked by Dren.
É a melhor ideia que eu tenho no momento. O que mais você quer que eu faça?
Como foi que você deixou de ser uma cientista?
Elsa scolds the girl and tells her to step away. Clive tries to explain the situation to Gavin, who is irritated that they are conducting an illegal experiment. The couple knows they can no longer keep Dren in the lab, so they take her to the facility's basement. Upon arriving, the creature develops a fever and stops breathing. Clive puts her in a cold bath, to no avail. At this point, Clive grabs Dren's tail and holds her underwater. When the creature stops struggling, the couple realizes that Dren's tumor was actually an amphibian lung, so she can also breathe underwater. The time comes when the couple must present Ginger and Fred to the media at a conference. They present the creatures together, but the conference quickly descends into chaos when the creatures begin fighting each other, creating a bloodbath. Later, Clive and Elsa report what went wrong to CO Joan. It turns out that Ginger has somehow changed sex and become male. Thus, the tension between the two males leads to a fight. The couple was so busy with Dren that they didn't even notice when Ginger changed gender. Because of all this, Joan orders them to stop all fusion processes and somehow synthesize the protein they need at all costs. The entire facility will be overrun in a few days, so Dren needs to be taken to a safe place. The couple plans to take her to Elsa's mother's old farm, in a secluded location. This way, Dren will be safe and have more freedom. A few months later, she has fully grown. Later, Elsa and Clive take Dren to the barn, but she runs away in fright. The pair find her devouring a nearby rabbit and take her inside. Elsa scolds a visibly upset Dren, making her jump into a water tank. Clive believes she needs to be alone for a while, so the two work on cleaning the place for her. At night, Dren refuses to eat and forms the words boring and outside with the alphabets, claiming she is bored and wants to go outside. When Elsa tells her she can't do it, Dren becomes aggressive and escapes through the skylight. The couple climbs to the roof after her, but when she loses her balance, Dren sprouts wings, surprising everyone. Clive calls her back, telling her they love her. Hearing this, Dren hugs him and agrees to go back inside. The next day, Elsa and Dren are together when Elsa finds Dren's drawings of Clive. She's starting to develop feelings for him. Just then, Dren finds a cat and plays with it, but Elsa takes it away, fearing she'll kill it too. Clive arrives home to a sad Dren and dances with her to make her happy. While dancing, he suddenly realizes that Elsa used her own DNA to create Dren. Clive angrily confronts Elsa about her involvement in the experiment, but Elsa dismisses the matter, stating they've gone too far to talk about it now. The next day, Elsa brings the cat back to Dren as a gift, thinking she should have the chance to have more friends, but to her surprise, Dren kills the cat with his tail and attacks Elsa as well. But before she can escape, Elsa knocks her out and ties her to a table. Fed up with Dren, she decides to cut off her tail so she won't be a danger to anyone. Clive enters and finds a naked Dren tied to the table with her tail cut off. He takes pity on the girl and frees her. Later, he monitors Dren through cameras installed in her room. He touches her lovingly through the screen, but stops as soon as he realizes what he's doing. Meanwhile, Elsa is in the lab and has successfully created the protein using the venom from Dren's tail. She rushes to the farm to tell Clive the good news. Clive, on the other hand, enters Dren's barn and is greeted by Dren, who kisses him. He tries to resist, but eventually gives in and has sex with the creature. Elsa enters the barn and is horrified by the scene. She runs away angrily while Clive follows her, apologizing. Later, after a long conversation, They finally decide to kill Dren and get rid of the problem once and for all. But when they return to the farm, they find her already on the verge of death. Due to her rapidly developing nature, her lifespan has come to an end. The couple remains by her side as she takes her last breath. Elsa weeps, mourning the death of her daughter-like creature. Heartbroken, the two bury the body outside. Just then, Clive's brother Gavin arrives with a nerd employee. They found human DNA in the protein samples and are there to see the creature. Elsa tells them she is dead, but at that very moment a loud noise is heard. It turns out Dren wasn't dead after all. She has transitioned to male, like Ginger, and has become aggressive. The male Dren captures and kills Gavin and his friend within seconds. He drags Clive into a lake and then chases Elsa. Soon, Elsa is captured by the male Dren, who uses his sharp, regenerated tail to tear her clothes and begins to forcibly mate with her. Some time later, Clive comes to her aid and stabs Dren with a log. This causes little to no damage to the creature, as it regenerates quickly. Dren is about to kill Clive when Elsa hits him on the head with a rock. She does so repeatedly, but stops halfway through, feeling sorry for the creature. However, Dren seizes the opportunity to strike Clive with his tail and kill him. Seeing him kill her boyfriend, Elsa strikes the creature repeatedly and finally kills him. Several months have passed since the incident. Elsa sits down with Joan, who offers her a deal. It turns out that Elsa has been impregnated by Dren and is expecting his child. Joan wants to use the miracle child to create medicine for the good of humanity. Elsa accepts the deal, saying she has nothing to lose. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below what you thought of this story. Your support makes all the difference. See you next time.